Hello, and welcome to our shared journey of experiencing these Grand Tour parks with Facecam, apparently. So you're going to have a lot of opportunity to look at me squinting really up close to parks. We're starting with In-Cities and Intamin 22's contribution to this Croatia round. I'm looking at this and this is absolutely beautiful. So the parameters for this round are you need, based on Croatia, of course, you've got to have a tall structure in there, whether it's a ride or a building, and you've got to recreate a monument. Now, I'm thinking a lot of this is recreation of monuments. I reckon this aqueduct here is a recreation of something, and but mostly we've got this sort of King's Landing-esque object here. I'm thinking this cathedral is the ting. This is really well composed. It's not horrifically well composed in terms of like a park. You wouldn't compose a park like this, but in terms of the job that it's doing, it's certainly fulfilling what we need in terms of the challenge. It is an approximation of a city setting. I'm curious as to what the fuck is going on here. Like, what is this? It's like, is this like a glitch? Like, it's got this guy. Yeah, you're lost. You're in the middle of the fucking ocean, pal. So we've got this recreation. I presume it's this cathedral. I'm not going to look up what it is. If you thought that's what I was going to do, then you're daft. I prefer just a little splash more. Just a little bit a splash of colour. Maybe these statues. Really great job, guys. All of this looks really cool. It's sometimes hard to make these blank surfaces look good, but you've done it by just having strong forms. Spot on, loving it. Let's take a look. I think this is the tall structure. I'm finding it hard to convince myself this isn't just a cop-out. You didn't done like a radio tower. Like, you've got to admit that it doesn't necessarily glue with the rest of the theme. This ancient theme, then we've got a radio tower. I don't care if Croatia is famous for its radio towers. It's quite small. I'm trying to think what else would be. Because this is, by its very nature, very terrain hugging, which I love. I fucking adore this. As the only ride in the vicinity, I think it's spot on. Adorable little station. These rides are manually braked, so you pull up a thing between your legs and get arrested, but it slows you down. It certainly slows down the trajectory of your life going to prison, but it also slows down this particular ride. I'm loving the supports. Great use of these. Quite awkward. There's quite a lot of aliasing on the object, but it's thin. What are you going to get? Like, I think for what it is, it's spot on. This little area's and got a nice splash of colour. I would have really liked a bit more of this, maybe just a few more greys and stuff in this quite brown area. To quote RRP, his immortal words, brown is not a theme, but brown apparently is Croatia. This little football game, prefer it if they were moving. Now this is gorgeous, guys, really well done. I describe this as complete. It feels very complete despite the problems that we've discussed. It feels like really finished and polished. This would have absolutely sunk any contribution from like head-to-head 5. Like, this would go up against Belmont or Lenox Mall, sunk 'em. But I find that with a lot of parks nowadays, which is such an encouraging notion. So remind me of your names, guys. Let's call you Jeff and Rob, shall we? So, Jeff and Rob, let's have a look at what you've made for us today. Oh my goodness. Another, what do they call it? They call these toboggan rides, don't they? This is a really good depiction of it. I've got to say, guys, this is like a very... It looks boring compared to the other one, but this is what they look like. And it's got that character of them. I'm skeptical of these objects. They don't look like they're from Roller Coaster Tycoon. You can get away with a lot of stuff in this game, but these are a bit too dissimilar from the rest of the objects in the game, or at least the ones that have become the meta. I'm not sure what the monument is. Is it this? Ooh, some interesting stuff going on in here, just like a water park. Looks like in here. Guys, this is Bonnie, like, well done, guys. I am very, very curious to see what you put out in future. This obviously isn't going to be out in Cities or Intamin, I'm sad to say, because it is quite cool. Let's watch this coaster. So this is a launched hybrid coaster. So it pushes it up to the top of here, then it comes down here. What I'd say first and foremost is that it's very speedy, and now we're coming to... I'm not sure how I feel about a 0G roll at the bottom of a hill. Currently that's the lowest point that you've reached in the track, like save maybe this bit here. But it's too sprightly at that point. It is a bit too speedy, and I feel like you'd make people pass out in that. Be more responsible is what I'd say. Put them at the top, let them feel the airtime as they're going through and not just be mangled at the bottom of the hill. I mean, it all looks really cool. Like, this could be like a billion times worse, guys. You've done like a good job. But I'd consider these things where you're placing those elements. But yeah, great job. I'm really excited to see what you do in future. Keep up the great work. So now I've got Tulsimir, and who's Leon? Despite the fact that Leon isn't specified in the file name. Bit rude, but there we go. Now this is a very quiet contribution, isn't it? But we can tell this is Tulsimir because he's pushing into his diagonals. Oh, look at this. So you've got another radio tower here. Is this a meme? Is this from like the Discord or something? Are we all doing like radio towers as like the tall structures? I'm willing to give this the tall structure benefit of the doubt. So for the uninitiated, our friend Tulsimir has been really making us all look bad. Oh, that's genius. You can just rotate them and... oh, easy money, Tulsimir. Our friend Tulsimir has been really exploring what's going on in half diagonals, which is a concept that no one else has really, to my knowledge, really tried before. Cafes in this square, all of these forms are fucking delicious. The texture's gorgeous. This is real, like, top tier Roller Coaster Tycoon. And then as we go up here, we've just got this quiet. It's just quiet up here. So in terms of the parameters, Croatia certainly looks like it. Never been, but from what I know, this certainly looks like it. Tall structure, I'm willing to give that it. Unless there's like a Discord meme to do with radio towers, like, are they famous for is Croatia famous for its radio towers? Oh, look at these objects. Are these new? Yeah. So this is Tulsimir's objects over here. Mate, they are stunning. Those are so nice. They're really characterful as well. I think those are going to see a lot of use moving forward. I really like this. I'm struggling placing this one up against Intamin and Inside Cities. Summer Storm by MK and Jappy. Two names, two rising stars of the community. They continue to rise, ever upward, as each day goes on. And this feels very European. This feels very mainland Europe Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I'm gonna throw some shade right now, and I'm really sorry, but mainland Europe isn't like the strong place for ride design. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Okay, we're gonna talk about a little bit of stuff that we can just steer clear of from now on. We can get rid. I'm not sure about... I get where you're going with this. It's meant to be like a double down thing, but it's on a diagonal. Consequently, it just looks like you didn't do another draft. What I say about Rise is just do another draft. Like, once you've got the form that you want, go back, make sure it's tight. That's how you get hashtag #datflow to bring back a dead meme in the community. This doesn't flow. This looks shit. Which is a shame, because the rest of it actually has like a very unique feeling to it. It's characterful. This ride's characterful, but I wouldn't go as far as to say charismatic or convincing or any other C word. See, this I can cope with. This double down here looks great. It works because it's not coming out of an awkward transition. This is being given enough room to breathe here. This has got plenty of room to breathe here. This corner looks nice. It's a very tight corner, but tight corners exist. And it looks nice. This double down, you can appreciate the difference between these two. And this as well, this is touching the floor, making it feel kind of awkward and kind of beginner-esque. I think that this ride suffers from being too spread out, not doubling back on itself enough, basically, and not taking clear inspiration from real life comparable rides. It just feels like you were just riffing on wooden roller coasters in general. Consequently, it comes across as a bit unfocused. It doesn't feel like any particular branded ride. With the trains, it feels like it could be like a GCI, or like it has the GCI feelings of very close to the ground, very curvy, lots and lots of curved drops. That's what you see from a GCI. Ride design it's roller coaster tycoon first and foremost, and you can have parks with no rides in that are beautiful, but if you have a park with like a ride which doesn't fulfill its potential, I'm not going to say it's bad because it's not, guys, you didn't make a bad ride, but it didn't fulfill its potential. It needed more drafts. It just feels clumsy. So you've got aqueducts. Is Croatia famous for its aqueducts? Now, okay, I think the bumper cars as sheep thing needs to die. It doesn't look good. It looks like bumper cars in a field. I don't know who decided that was a thing to do, but like, let's just leave that. This Arky is very small. Quite like it. Quite simple forms. Got a nice sort of like Adriatic fort going on there. Gotta be honest, gents, your stars are still rising. I'm looking forward to seeing what your next contributions look like. And for example, another point as well, why did you decide to have like a wide hill here in particular as opposed to somewhere else? What would have worked a lot better with this is having it much tighter at the top of the hill, because right now it looks really fat at the top because it's really like smooth and flowing coming into here. Then it's quite fat along the top, and then it's smooth and flowing coming out. This could have done with having a tighter, pinched top on it, because all it's doing is going over this path, apparently. It seems like I've been ragging on this a lot, but the fact that I can rag on it and not just dismiss it out of hand, it does show that it has potential that we can work with, and that's the most important thing. You're obviously two very talented builders, and I really want to push you to be that just last bit. So I presume this is our tall structure, and this is nice, but I think we're lagging a couple of years behind in terms of architecture. Ooh, I love these flying buttresses here. These look dead nice. But guys, you have really strong contribution. I wish I had more to talk about in terms of the content here, but it's all kind of, it's fired straight down the middle, I'd describe it as. It's just a bit boring is the problem. Gorgeous, but boring. Is there like a meme to do with like Croatia and litter? Are Croatians dirty? Certainly looks like Croatia. Tall structure. This thing. I'm sure that this is the landmark that you recreated, but it's not really drawing my eye. All in all, great effort, guys. It looks really nice. This stuff over here is all like, I'd describe it as really competent. I'm excited to see what you guys can do, maybe with a bit of direction. If you guys built with maybe someone like Liam, but with a bit of direction, I feel like you guys can really sort of like get it sorted, make something that's incredibly good. Liam Pai and Sulak. I'm excited to look at this one actually, because the screenshots were looking extremely lovely. After spending so long talking about wooden roller coasters, we've got like a look. This looks like a Liam Pye contribution, of who I will refer to as Liam from this point on. I'm going to look over here at the city. Ooh, this all looks dead nice. I'm presuming this is the recreation. This little city area is very, I describe it as competent. The forms are very, what I'd expect of these players, very high level stuff. But I think we can agree that it's quite boring when placed against Tolsimir, Leon, In-Cities and Intamin's contributions. It doesn't really grab your attention in the same way. I think that's because we've not got very effective use of negative space. In those other contributions, there was a lot of stuff where there wasn't stuff. But in here, it's quite balls to the wall. Now, we've got negative space over here. Now, I'm not sure what's going on here, but that looks quite nice, that little sculpture. Where's my game crashed? Oh no, did it? Okay, we've got a fucking radio tower meme again. Hold on, let me Google this. So grab TV tower. Yeah, apparently there's a radio tower and an observation tower kind of thing there, but but why? I don't get it. Like, why is this the meme? I don't want to talk about this wooden roller coaster. The weakest part of Liam's game is his roller coasters, and I know this is Liam because it's fucking shocking. I don't want to look at it. Like this here, this like double down into the drop, like you're not building a B&M guy. Like, maybe you are, but this is the first B&M wooden coaster. The transitions are all really nice. I don't have anything to say in terms of the transitions the same way that I did with the last wooden roller coaster. I'd just say, like, use a stronger point of reference. It might be that people love these kind of coasters, but I don't. I'm really sorry, Liam. It is by far from one of the like strongest players in the game as of currently. I'll stop it with that. Why is there so much litter? Like, is Croatia like famously like dirty? Not sure how I feel about that. To go back to the point I was making on MK and Jappy's Park, this park would have been stronger if it didn't have this ride in it. This ride's brought it down, in my personal opinion, and I hope that doesn't offend people. And if it does, I guess deal with it. Like, it's my opinion. You've tuned in to listen to my opinion. Architecture is really good. We want more negative space, though. There's a bit of negative space here. I prefer more negative space pushed up against the buildings. Give it a bit of room to breathe. And it gets really lush over here. We need to bring some of this green and just drop it in here. Because this stuff around here, it does so much. Imagine if the path was pushed up against here, and you imagine the problem that we actually have over here. It doesn't take much, just little bits and bobs where it's not just like brown into brown, and above that there's some brown. But there's definitely, in this one, there's definitely more variation, like colour variance, which is much appreciated. So great job with that. In terms of making it city-like, beautiful, gorgeous. Love this sweeping thing up to here with stuff encroaching onto it. Love this sort of like Colosseum-esque thing going on. What I imagine this was some sort of cathedral that all the wood in it burnt down or something. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm really struggling between Intamin and In-Cities and Tolsimir and Leon. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it and not tell you which one I vote for. I'm going to have a bit of a think about it. Thank you so much for watching me talking about Roller Coaster Tycoon and freaking out over wooden roller coasters. I'll do some more of these at some point, hopefully. But in the meantime, you take care of yourself, play Roller Coaster Tycoon really well, and continue to inspire everybody. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the competition.